The sign on the wall tells you this is a safe place. But 40 Februaries ago,
I recognized the possibility that that was my day.
Larry Medley and Jim Robbins began a journey you might not believe.
It was a day to remember, huh, Jim?
A day to remember.
Even after they tell you
This
about
is basically it. This is the area. 40 years ago.
Medley was only 16 then and was torn up by the poverty he saw every day in his neighborhood in South High Point.
But at the time, only thing I could see was the oppressor as being white America.
The Black Panther Party had started in Oakland, California a few years before and spread not only its revolutionary fervor, but its community service like the free breakfast program it used to feed thousands of poor kids like these in High Point. And Larry Medley bought into both the service and the revolution.
And I was angry. And I said, well, since they are trying to do something to try to bring about a change, then I want to get involved in this.
Well, I started,
Jim Robbins grew up in Randleman.
My high school was segregated, but when I got out of high school, all of a sudden I was integrated with blacks in the Marine Corps.
Where he realized the humanity in everyone.
So then when I became a police officer, I actually took a little pride in the fact that I always treated everybody exactly the same.
But he had orders to evict the people who were in the house that stood right back there. It was a cold Wednesday that February. Robbins and the other officers showed up before dawn, and they showed up in force.
Well, actually what we was hoping for is the fact that they would go there, knock on the door, with a show of force, have them say, hey, we're outnumbered, this is not a good circumstance for us to be in, we're going to acquiesce.
But remember, the Panthers were revolutionaries, and they were well armed. The police shot a tear gun canister into the house. This is Wayne Pike. He was another officer who was there. He's holding one of those canisters.
Because of that, I put on my gas mask. Then I heard a second shot, and then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose.
And this was the mindset at the time. If we go down, we're going to at least take one with us.
We think that the four of us, and I'm speaking of 4 police officers, were right in this area.
We had a short porch, the road.
And 16-year-old Larry Medley was in an upstairs window with a scoped rifle, ready to do whatever it took for the revolution.
So here I am with this bead on possibly Jim's head. And I know that if I had pulled the trigger, that .30-30 bullet would have penetrated the helmet and would have killed him. And I wouldn't be here talking today. And when we were ordered to come on out.
But before he could pull the trigger, Larry was shot and surrendered. After a few years in prison, he sought every balm for his weeping soul.
It seemed like regardless of how much reefer I smoked or wine I drank or even coke I snorted or pills I popped, there was still that emptiness within me. I was saying there had to be more to life than this.
And there was the night he found God, which led him to this church in High Point a few months ago.
We're setting up a breakfast bar, and he comes in.
It just happened to be
I introduced myself, and he said his name was Larry Medley.
Jim Robbins' church.
Larry Medley. I said, man, that name sure does sound familiar. How do I know your name?
Larry reminded Jim about his Panther days in the shootout.
So back in the 70s, I was a Black Panther, and I was in the shootout with the High Point Police. And I said, well, Larry, this isn't the first time we met. I said, do you remember the police officer standing over you with a shotgun on Holder Street? That was the first time we met.
And I said, no way. So around in here,
40 years
I
on,
would say somewhere in this area,
the guns are put away,
4 of us were made to lie down.
and so is the
To
vitriol.
be frankly honest, I said, I think it's fascinating that back then he would have killed me and I would have killed him. And now I'm willing to jump in front of the bullet for him, and he's willing to jump in front of the bullet for me.
The cop and the revolutionary, now the best of friends.
He's a brother. He's my Black Panther.
A testimony to the power of changed hearts. Bob Buckley, Fox 8 News.